Hi everyone, thank you for joining me once again. Today we are going to talk about prayers and blessings for natural phenomena. During those winter months, we come across many holidays throughout the world that are being celebrated during the shortest days of the year, usually when they ask for light and blessings. This is based on something very ancient. From very early days, people were sitting in the dark during the winter, waiting for the sun and the warmth to return, and for the spring to bring back flourishment and flowers and fields that are growing and food and ability to see more during the day and spend time in the light. And throughout the Northern Sphere until today, we see many winter holidays being celebrated. They have a lot of different stories and a lot of different backgrounds, but the reason that they're all placed in the winter is probably because of those early holidays that meant to bring back the light. And in Jewish culture, we see prayers and blessing that are connected to natural phenomena during the winter. For example, rain and wind. There's a prayer called Meshiv Ruach Vemorid Geshem. Meshiv Ruach Vemorid Geshem means the one who brings back the wind and the one who brings the rain. We know that during the winter you usually have rain and wind, so why do you have to call for them? For many different reasons. First of all, you're showing the divine that you have a conversation with God or the goddess. You're talking about the fact that you're asking for the rain to come, for the wind to bring the clouds of the rain. You want to have a fruitful year and not a year of drought. You're showing the divine that you have some kind of symbiotic relations with the divine, that you're in this together, that you want your fields to flourish and you trust the divine to help you doing that by sending the clouds and sending the rain. During the summer days, the spring and the summer days, you don't say the bringer of rain, but you're asking for dew, the water that you find on flowers and leaves right before dawn, because this is what gives water to the plantation when rain is absent. Another interesting thing in those blessings is that you ask for the specific amount. You don't want it to be a year of drought, but you don't also want it to be some kind of a flood that ruins everything on its way. So you're asking for a rain which is a blessing, a rain that will bring life. You need it to be here, but not to create something that might destroy everything you worked for. One of the ancient stories in Jewish tradition talks about a guy called Honi. Honi was a rabbi, but also a bit of a witchy guy. And at some year when there was a drought, people went to him and told him, Honi, please pray for the rain, because when you pray, rain comes. He steps outside and starts to pray, but at the beginning there's no rain. So he draws a circle around him and says to God that he's going to stay within the circle until rain comes. The rain starts, but it's not enough, and he asks for more. And then there's good rain, but at some point there's so much rain that people are coming to him and say, okay, stop, now ask for the rain to stop. And this is exactly it. What is the right amount? Where do I draw the line between a drought and a flood? I want something that will be beneficial, and this is what I'm asking for. This is how I'm creating conversation with the divine. Another interesting blessing is the blessing of the moon that you say in the beginning of every month, from usually the point where you start to see the crescent of the moon and up until the point the moon is full. You're calling back to the light of the moon and you're asking that everything will be blessed the same way the moon is full. Everything will be fruitful. The world will flourish. The light will overcome the darkness. Women will get pregnant like the moon is getting bigger and bigger. And this is very interesting because those phenomena, they already happen. They happen. They happen every season, every night. They happen every year. They don't need us to call for them to happen. So other than the fact that from early days, people saw the conversation with the divine as some kind of cooperation. Someone is taking all of those things and making them happen. Those blessings and prayers for natural phenomena also teach us a very important lesson. Do not take anything for granted. Do not assume that the rain will come. Do not assume it's going to be a fruitful year. Do not assume that the moon will always be there and that light will return. You need to show that you want it. And when it happens, be grateful because it's here. Today, everyone's speaking about global warming. And maybe those prayers, they tell us something that we forgot and they knew very well in early days when they worked with nature and with the land all the time. There are consequences. When you're taking action, either good or bad, there are consequences. There are results to the things that you do. And those prayers and those blessings, they teach us those things. Take responsibility for your actions. You have connection to the world and be grateful. Don't take anything for granted. The fact that those prayers exist and that they probably go back, way back than religious as we know them, show that this is something that represented humanity from the beginning. Handling challenges, hoping for the best, hoping for the right kind of best, and learning to cope when things aren't easy. And when things do happen, and when divine does assist you, or you overcame a challenge, be grateful and do not take anything for granted. So, yes, ask for the rain and say thank you for the rain and the wind and the dew and the fact that the moon will also be full next month. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time.